Let me be honest with you. Most men over 60 don't think about their prostate until something goes wrong. And by then, they're already dealing with the midnight bathroom trips, the weak stream, the pressure, the discomfort, and that nagging feeling that something just isn't right down there. I've seen it happen to so many men, and it breaks my heart every single time, because so much of it is preventable. Today, I want to share something with you that I genuinely believe every man over 60 should know. There is one fruit, one humble, delicious, widely available fruit that research continues to point to as one of the most powerful natural allies your prostate can have. And the best part? You can probably pick it up at your local grocery store for just a few dollars. So stay with me, because what I'm about to share could genuinely make a difference in the quality of your life going forward. Before I dive in, I want to ask you something, and I'd really love for you to answer this in the comments below. When was the last time you made a food choice specifically because it was good for your prostate health? Just drop a number, 1, 2, or 3. 1 if you never really think about it. 2 if you try but aren't sure what works. And 3 if you're already actively eating for prostate health. I ask because your answer tells me a lot about where you are on this journey, and I want to meet you right where you are. Now let's talk about the prostate. I know some men feel a little uncomfortable discussing it, but I want to normalize this conversation because your prostate is a vital part of your body, and taking care of it is just as important as taking care of your heart or your lungs. The prostate is a small, walnut-sized gland that sits just below your bladder. Its job is to produce fluid that nourishes and protects sperm. Simple enough, right? But here's the thing. As men age, that little gland can start to cause big problems. By the time a man reaches 60, there's a significant chance his prostate has already begun to enlarge. This condition is called benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, and while it isn't cancer, it can seriously affect your quality of life. And beyond BPH, prostate inflammation and prostate cancer are very real concerns for men in this age group. I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you this because awareness is the first step toward action, and action is what changes outcomes. The good news, and there really is good news here, is that what you eat plays a meaningful role in how your prostate ages. And that brings me to the star of today's conversation. The fruit I want to talk about today is the pomegranate. Now, maybe you've heard of it before. Maybe you've even tried pomegranate juice or eaten the seeds. But I want you to truly understand why this fruit is so remarkable for men's health, specifically prostate health. Because once you see the full picture, I think you'll want to make it a regular part of your daily routine. The pomegranate has been used medicinally for thousands of years across different cultures. Ancient healers in Persia, India, and the Mediterranean world prized it for its healing properties. And now, modern science is catching up and confirming what those ancient traditions already seemed to understand. This fruit is packed with some of the most powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory compounds found in any food on Earth. And for your prostate, that matters enormously. Let's start with antioxidants, because this is foundational. Your body is constantly under attack from something called oxidative stress. This happens when free radicals, unstable molecules produced by normal body processes, pollution, processed foods, and stress, begin to damage your cells. And your prostate cells are not immune to this damage. In fact, oxidative stress is thought to play a significant role in both the development of prostate inflammation and the progression of prostate cancer. Antioxidants are your body's defense system. They neutralize free radicals before they can do serious harm. Now, pomegranates contain extraordinarily high levels of antioxidants. In fact, multiple studies have shown that pomegranate juice has significantly higher antioxidant activity than red wine and green tea, two foods that are constantly celebrated for their antioxidant content. The key compounds responsible for this are called punicalagins and punicic acid, which are unique to pomegranates and not found in meaningful quantities in any other fruit. Your body actually converts punicalagins into a compound called urolithin A, and this is where things get really interesting for prostate health specifically. Urolithin A has been studied in the context of prostate cancer cells, and early research, including laboratory and some clinical studies, has shown that it may help slow the proliferation of prostate cancer cells and even promote something called apoptosis, which is essentially the natural process where damaged or abnormal cells are signaled to die off before they can cause harm. I want to be clear with you. I'm not telling you that pomegranates cure or treat prostate cancer. That would be irresponsible of me, and it simply isn't what the science says. What the science does suggest is that the compounds in pomegranates may create an internal environment that is less hospitable to prostate cancer cell growth. That's a meaningful distinction, and it's one worth paying attention to. One of the most frequently cited studies in this area was published in the journal Clinical Cancer Research. In that study, men who had been treated for prostate cancer and were showing signs of recurrence were given 8 ounces of pomegranate juice daily. The researchers were tracking something called PSA doubling time. PSA stands for prostate-specific antigen, and it's a marker in your blood that doctors use to monitor prostate health. Under normal concerning circumstances, PSA doubles relatively quickly, which can signal aggressive disease progression. In the men drinking pomegranate juice daily, the PSA doubling time was significantly extended, from an average of around 15 months before the study to over 54 months during it. That's a dramatic slowing of disease progression, and it was associated with daily pomegranate consumption. Now, again, I want to be measured and responsible here. That was one study, and science requires replication and further investigation. But it was significant enough that researchers continued pursuing this line of inquiry, and subsequent studies have added further weight to the idea that pomegranates offer real, tangible benefits for prostate health. Beyond cancer, let's talk about inflammation. Because chronic inflammation in and around the prostate is something that affects a huge number of men, often without them even knowing it. Prostatitis, which is inflammation of the prostate, can cause pelvic pain, difficulty urinating, and general discomfort. And chronic low-grade inflammation throughout the body is now understood to be a major driver of aging and disease across the board. Pomegranates are rich in anti-inflammatory compounds, including anthocyanins, ellagic acid, and flavonoids. These compounds work to reduce the inflammatory signals in your body at a cellular level. When you reduce systemic inflammation, you're not just helping your prostate, you're helping your heart, your joints, your brain, and your overall vitality. I want to talk to you for a moment about something that doesn't always get discussed when we talk about prostate health, and that's testosterone and hormonal balance. As men age, testosterone levels decline naturally. This is a normal part of aging, but the ratio between testosterone and estrogen can become imbalanced in ways that contribute to prostate enlargement. Some research suggests that the compounds in pomegranates may help support a healthier hormonal environment in men, partly through their interaction with aromatase, the enzyme responsible for converting testosterone to estrogen. By potentially modulating this process, pomegranates may contribute to a more balanced hormonal profile. Again, this is emerging research, but it adds another dimension to why this fruit is so interesting for men's health specifically. Now let's talk about how you actually incorporate pomegranate into your daily life, because information is only useful if you can act on it. The good news is that this is genuinely easy and enjoyable. The first option is fresh pomegranate seeds, also called arils. If you've never broken open a fresh pomegranate, I encourage you to try it. There are actually very simple techniques, like scoring the fruit and submerging it in water to pull the seeds apart, that make the process much less intimidating. Fresh pomegranate seeds have a wonderful, sweet, tart flavor, and you can eat them on their own, sprinkle them over oatmeal, mix them into a salad, or toss them into a smoothie. A reasonable daily serving is around 1/4 to 1/2 cup of the seeds. The second option is pomegranate juice. This is the most concentrated form, and it's what was used in most of the research studies. If you go this route, I want to encourage you to choose a juice that is 100% pomegranate with no added sugars. Many commercial pomegranate juice products are diluted with apple juice or loaded with added sweeteners, which undermines the benefit. Read the label carefully. A daily serving of around 8 ounces of pure pomegranate juice is what most studies have used, though even 4 ounces can be beneficial. I do want to mention, if you have diabetes or are managing blood sugar, speak with your doctor before adding pomegranate juice to your routine, as it does contain natural sugars and can affect blood glucose levels. The third option is pomegranate extract or supplements. These are available in capsule form and can be a convenient way to get the beneficial compounds without worrying about the sugar content of juice. If you go this route, look for supplements that are standardized for punicalagins content and come from reputable manufacturers. As always, talk to your healthcare provider before starting any new supplement, especially if you're on medications. Pomegranate can interact with certain drugs, including some blood thinners and blood pressure medications, in ways similar to grapefruit. I also want to talk to you about the bigger picture here, because no single food is a magic bullet, and I think it's important for me to be honest about that. Pomegranate is a powerful tool, but it works best as part of a broader approach to prostate and overall health. What does that broader approach look like? It looks like reducing your intake of processed foods, red meat, and dairy, all of which have been associated in various studies with increased prostate cancer risk. It looks like increasing your consumption of vegetables, especially cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts, which contain compounds like sulforaphane that are also being studied for their prostate protective effects. It looks like getting regular physical activity, maintaining a healthy weight, staying well hydrated, and keeping up with your regular medical checkups, including PSA testing and digital rectal exams as recommended by your doctor. I know that last part might make some men uncomfortable. I've had conversations with men who tell me they avoid doctor appointments because they're afraid of what they might find out. And I understand that fear. I really do. But I want to say this as clearly and as kindly as I can. Catching something early is almost always better than catching it late. Your doctor is your partner in health, not your adversary. Please don't let fear keep you from getting the information you need to make good decisions about your body. Let's also talk about stress, because this is something that often gets overlooked in conversations about prostate health. Chronic psychological stress elevates cortisol levels in your body, and elevated cortisol has downstream effects on inflammation, immune function, and hormonal balance, all of which matter for your prostate. Finding healthy ways to manage stress, whether that's through exercise, meditation, time in nature, meaningful social connection, or whatever works for you personally, is genuinely part of taking care of your prostate health. You are a whole person, and your health is interconnected in ways that we can't always reduce to a single organ or a single nutrient. Now, I want to circle back to something I said earlier about urolithin A, because I think it deserves a little more attention. The ability to convert the compounds in pomegranates into urolithin A actually varies from person to person based on your gut microbiome. Some people produce large amounts of urolithin A from pomegranate consumption, while others produce very little. This is part of why the research on pomegranates shows some variability in outcomes between individuals. The takeaway here is twofold. First, maintaining a healthy, diverse gut microbiome through a fiber-rich diet, fermented foods like yogurt and kefir, and possibly probiotic supplements, may actually enhance your ability to benefit from pomegranate consumption. Second, this is another reminder that a holistic approach to diet and lifestyle compounds the benefits you get from any individual food. I also want to mention lycopene briefly, because it often comes up in conversations about prostate health, and I want to give you an accurate picture. Lycopene, the compound found in tomatoes, is probably the most well-known dietary supporter of prostate health, and there's solid research behind it. I'm not telling you to replace tomatoes with pomegranates. These foods work beautifully together. Think of your diet as a team of supporters for your prostate, and pomegranate is a tremendously valuable team member that often gets overlooked in favor of the more famous players. Other fruits and foods that support this team include watermelon, which is also high in lycopene, green tea, which contains catechins with anti-cancer properties, fatty fish like salmon and sardines, which provide omega-3 fatty acids that reduce inflammation, and foods rich in zinc, like pumpkin seeds, which support healthy prostate tissue. But among fruits specifically, and this is the key point I want you to take away today, pomegranate stands out as particularly well-studied and particularly promising for prostate health in men over 60. Let me also address something practical, because I know that some of you watching this might be in regions where fresh pomegranates are not always easy to find or are quite expensive. If that's your situation, pomegranate juice and pomegranate extract supplements are both widely available and can be shipped to most places. You don't have to live near a specialty grocery store to access the benefits of this fruit. And if cost is a concern, even incorporating it a few times a week rather than daily is better than not at all. Progress over perfection. That's a principle I always come back to when it comes to health changes. I want to leave you with this. You are not too old to make meaningful improvements to your health. That is something I believe with everything I have. The choices you make today, including something as simple as adding a powerful fruit to your daily routine, can genuinely change the trajectory of how you feel, how you function, and how you live in the years ahead. Men over 60 have so much life left to live, so much wisdom to share, and so many reasons to invest in their health. You deserve to feel good. You deserve to sleep through the night without interruption. You deserve to feel strong and vital and well. And small, consistent, evidence-informed choices, like eating pomegranate daily, are how you build that kind of health over time. So here's my challenge to you today. For the next 30 days, incorporate pomegranate into your daily routine, whether that's the fresh seeds, the pure juice, or a quality supplement. Just 30 days. Pay attention to how you feel. Talk to your doctor about your prostate health if you haven't recently. And come back and tell me how it's going in the comments, because I genuinely want to know. Your experience matters, and sharing it here might be exactly the encouragement someone else needs to take that first step. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If you found this information helpful, please share it with the men in your life who could benefit from it. A brother, a friend, a father, a colleague. This is the kind of knowledge that deserves to spread. Take care of yourself, because you are worth taking care of. I'll see you in the next one.